What's up YouTube? I'm back home and I finally got a glimpse at the new patch at the Jayce expansion. And for those of you who might know me a little longer, I am an absolute Teemo fanatic, a true Teemo connoisseur. So the first deck I tried to build, of course, was combining Teemo with the new package of cards around Jayce. I ended up deciding on Freljord as the second complementary region, mainly because of two reasons. One is we have great stalling tools and great protective tools for both of our champions. And the other one is we have some of the best top end and finishers in the game. We play 2 fielder rushes in the main deck, but also the card pool from Ferros Financier is just absolutely insane. We can just have a look by applying some filters, spells only 6, 7, 8+. And let's say right away, we have a couple of mediocre cards here, but of course, a lot of cards are already very good in situations in certain matchups. But it gets really spicy once we scroll down a bit and we get to these kinds of cards. We can pull Fielder Rushes, we can pull War Mother's Calls, and we can pull Progress Days from Ferros Financier. Glorious Evolution will also very often win games on its own. Voices of the Old Ones is a solid one to get to our Fielder Rush quicker or draw some more top-end cards. Buried in Ice, of course, can also win a game on its own. And just a lot of stuff that is good in certain matchups, and we can choose if we currently need it. So the idea of this deck is that if we can already manifest a lot of those finishers, if we ever run out of steam, we don't really need to run them in our main deck anymore. And that gives us even more space to play early game stuff, mid game stuff, and just cost efficient cards. I'll just go through the card packages really quick to explain why everything's in here. We play some P&Z removal here in Thermo Beam and Mystic Shot, just because the current meta is very fast and they're very flexible, dealing with Poppy Z, dealing with stuff like Plunder and so on. We play a lot of Freljord protective cards, some very effective combat tricks in Troll Charm, Brittle Steel, Elixir of Iron, Icevale Archers as a great stalling tool as well as a good stat line for blocking, and I like to play one of Harsh Winds in this. So that should allow us to compete in the early game against most decks, and to give us that mid-game power spike, we run the whole Jayce package. Forge of Tomorrow, Jayce himself, Assembly Line, Shock Blast, just some very effective units on the board, as well as optional burn or removal and so on. Additionally, I like 1 or 2 Albus Ferroses in this list as a way of not running out of steam, as well as an additional finisher, but it's definitely not a must. I also tagged in 1 Station Archivist. I did sometimes have some troubles with running out of steam, and Archivist will usually, since we play so many spells and also like spells that turn into units, we often have a lot of flexibility if we play Archivist. If we need something cheap, protective, or some cheap removal, or some high value card, we often have options to choose. And to have some consistent top end finishers, I already mentioned Ferros, but I also did decide to play 1 Progress Day and 2 Fielder Rushes. Fielder Rush is just very fun in this deck because of Teemo, having an elusive champion, pulling it as a 10-10, and especially if Jayce is leveled, playing Fielder Rush, pulling 2 10-10 Teemos can be a 1-turn kill in OTK, just dealing 20 damage to your opponent's Nexus in 1 attack. Now, I'll say right away, I'm not sure about all these ratios yet. The list did not feel super refined. And I want to mention some tech choices that I tried or considered. So, of course, Puffcap Peddler can make sense. Maybe 1 or 2 Chump Wumps as well to go deeper in the Puffcap package. We could play a unit like Kindly Tavern Keeper to improve our aggro matchups a little bit. We could play Everosen Sentry if we do want some draw after all, if we happen to run out of steam too often. And 1 card I was considering is Winter's Breath. It is very, very inconsistent, especially in this deck, though. It probably makes more sense in an Ash build. But of course, the combo is super sweet. If you have a leveled up Jayce, you play Winter's Breath. First of all of your enemies get frostbitten. Then in the second cast, everything just gets murdered. And of course, another card to consider would be something like War Mother's Call. But I feel like with most of those cards, it would be better to just pull them off of Ferros Financier if we really need it, because they're too situational, and also we don't want to play too many of those high cost cards in any deck really, because it makes them a lot less consistent and it might mess up your early game if you draw too many expensive cards early on. So while this might not be the strongest of decks, or especially not the strongest of Jayce decks, it was a lot of fun to play for me, and I did have some decent results, so I could climb a little bit. on the ranked ladder. And I think I already kind of explained most of the game plan, but yeah, of course the idea is to control the early game and have those power swings in the mid game with the whole Jayce package. If that is not enough, some of our top end cards or whatever Ferros Financier pulls. And to give you guys some gameplay examples and some inspirations on how games with this deck can go, here are a couple of the nicer matches from my Twitch stream.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
I mean, the game is generally super free to play, so if you don't have any mana, any money left over, and you don't have to buy anything. But if you don't mind paying a few bucks, it's like really good value, I suppose. It unlocks quite a lot of cards and a lot of cosmetics and other fun stuff, right? It should be alright. Maybe just straight into assembly line? No mana. True gamer life, man. Money, mana. Isn't it basically the same thing? Oh no, we're gonna have to trade these. Well, this could make my turn 3 awkward though, if I don't draw anything. No, it's fine. I mean, it feels like it's always Challenger. Especially with the colors we run, our Jayce just always contests their Jayce. Okay. Pretty radical. Swing into assembly line. It also protects from Thermo Beam, Mystic Shot and the likes. So Mage Seekers are scary right now. That would be a pretty big force. People main deck this? I already forgot that this card got printed, to be honest. So I thought it would just be like a flavor and expedition card. Help. A conditional for elusive. This always will just remind me of a worse version of wait, could be Lux. A worse version of Slippery Wayfinder. My mana management is awkward here. Should be good. We have a 4 mana 2/3 elusive though. Yeah, but the last time that saw play was literally in the beta. And I mean, that is a new card.
It's an awesome day for progress. Hey, big man. You ready to get invented? All day, every day, Reggie.
All day, day. Interesting hand.
You're covered.
This at least means, okay, if you want to kill my Jayce, you lose yours. Single combat. Okay. I'm gonna play mine next turn. Okay. It's good for us. We're getting outvalued though. You need help setting a possible YouTube stream. Alright, if I actually will do it, I'll get back to you, Silent. For now, I have a couple of other projects in my mind, so the earliest I would do that would probably be next month. Oh, that's gangster. That is straight gangster. Ferros Financier.
Tomorrow has never looked so good.
Oh, I'm tempted to play the gate. With the hand we have right now, I'm not sure if we're really getting a better one.
Show me that again.
Get excited is massive. Let's go, let's go. That's a huge swing. They never expect the brittle steel. Oh, you just need like overwhelm.
Gate is a go.
And we might already have lethal. Oh, oh, we're rolling. We are rolling. This can't even die to Mystic Shot or single combat. Let's go. I guess we have proven that we're the better Jayce players. I'm pretty impressed with Albus Ferros. I expected him to be worse than he is. Yeah, I didn't really follow the game too much the last week, so I kind of don't know how people rated him. But when I first saw him, I thought he was pretty solid. So that's probably going to be a 3 deck. Of no landmark removal. And I can't find any. Interesting. I feel like Peddler Teemo should be good. Should be a pretty bad matchup for us overall though. Give It All is interesting, but I'd need to stick a Teemo. I think Buried in Ice is better to set up an attack.
If it's a people problem, I'm your man.
I mean, this is a pretty decent pull. We need to set up a big attack at some point. And just before we swing in, we just get rid of all the blockers. We just take the hits. The idea here is I'd rather use the elixir once Peddler is on the battlefield. I'm back. Yep. What's poppin', Peacemaker? Yeah, I'm hoping my internet stays stable for a few days. Like yesterday and today it was good, but I don't know why. What is Jayce's champ spell? Shock Blast.
This is where the magic happens.
Good to see you. Yeah, it's nice to be back. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Don't worry. wild swing. Opponent's gonna have a bunch of pings, Ravenous Flock. Probably gonna try to flock the Peddler. Just surprised they're throwing away chump blockers like that. Yo, Panzer! Thank you for the 17 months as well. Appreciate it. Yeah, I do still have a tiny bit of a cough left though. I hope it's not too annoying for you guys. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's nothing serious. Quick attack, it shall be.
Hey, big man. You ready to get bitten? All day, every day, Reggie.
Okay, so the question is, how much time do we have? Our opponent is very low on hand size right now, so maybe we can wait until our turn 9 attack. Until we need to close out the game.
Let's get started.
Are we going to need board space?
Powering up. Let's get started.
Not necessarily, right? What we could try to go for here is attack this turn. Next turn, Shock Blast, get another attacker, and then set up a Buried in Ice swing. COVID negative? Yes. In Germany, there's a lot of colds and so on going around, though. Like a lot of regular autumn and winter viruses and bacteria and so on. So a lot of people have a cold. But still, at least for my friend groups and so on, all of the results return as negative. Okay, so we try to block everything and protect everything. We try to put this to 0 damage so that Jayce can't get Ravenous Flocked. Right. It's nice that we got our opponent really low on hand size, so the likelihood of them closing out the game soon is very low. Okay. I for sure like playing the Forge with a Shock Blast in hand. Now it's going to be interesting to see what our opponent does. Do you think Nasus should be reverted to keep Fearsome on level 1? Ooh, I find that question very hard to answer. I don't know, to be honest. That card came from the very left, so there's a good chance that both of these are not blockers, which means if we Shock Blast now, we push a lot more damage. Like, we could also develop this guy, we could try something else. Okay, Mini-Morph. So the other card is probably also either Mini-Morph, or Removal, or a Banditry. Okay. That was Bomber Twins card, so there's just one card left in our opponent's hand that's been sitting there for a while. Let me add him. Have 3. It's probably a Mini-Morph, right? Should be pretty good for us. Ooh, okay. Okay, they survive for sure. Okay. Puffcaps are gonna have to put some work in. I didn't track my opponent's banditry progress. They're for sure missing PNZ and Freljord. And Ionia. Alright, we should still at least get one more attack in. I mean... that also just works perfectly fine. GG. I mean, there's probably not going to be that much discrepancy between this deck and the best Jayce deck. Nami TF. It's probably going to be some Burblefish army type of deck, right? Could keep Mystic Shot for TF. And Elusive. I think I prefer proactive plays. Don't want to give my opponent a Thermal Beam on turn 1 neither. What a hand. Full house. Okay, that's a good draw. It feels so good to not have to basically poop your pants every time on turn 4, not knowing if Nami will already take over the game. Having an extra turn to breathe.
You're not a hero, right?
I would give a pretty good TF red card. I think I want to Britta. Best Jayce deck is Jayce Poppy Bundle Swarm. Bandits. I mean, there's literally no synergy there. It might be a more mid-rangey deck.
Never lost a fair game.
But what would you even play for high-cost spells then? Double tap. I mean, the funny thing is, Yordles and Arms is just too efficient. You can't even go for that one. A Vanguard Sergeant? That's actually a good point. And then you would just play Jayce as a 4/4 with an optional keyword and nothing else? Maybe. Okay. It doesn't feel like my opponent's holding a Nami. What do I do though? Do I just Mystic Shot both Poros? Clear the way for Teemo? Okay, this gives me an easy troll chant. That's better. Like, I do want the Teemo to connect. Puffcaps are gonna be one of the win conditions here for sure. Oof. So do I want to invest 2 Mystic Shots to keep Teemo alive? And a Thermal Beam to remove the Poro? I'd be down to 1 card in hand, but I'd have the Puffcap diff on my side. It's probably not worth it. Poor guy. I should probably use the beam while it costs 6 and while there's no threat of my opponent playing Nami. It's for the Jayce level up, regaining the spell mana. Okay, my opponent's also down to 2 real cards in hand. I mean, our opponent's deck draws a lot, right? That's why I was honestly considering keeping Teemo alive, because he's very... Like, Puffcaps are very high value in this matchup. What about Jayce Kate? I'll play that later on. I saw a cool version by Astathia. I'll play that either later on or tomorrow. Good to have you back. I'm happy to be back. Wait, there was a rummage and something else. My opponent could have pulled ahead so far on value. Okay, so we want you to pull... We actually might delay this for a turn. Actually, no. Wait, next turn we would have mana to play Progress Day if we find it. Right now, this can find Shock Blast Assembly Line. That's actually plenty of good finds. That's the 6 copies in our deck. Okay, so we'll draw Feel the Rush soon. Which is really nice for us.
Apart from our other case.
I think our opponent still has 1 Burblefish card. Seems to be very reluctant to use the other 2. Interesting. Bartolini, thank you. Okay. This into Get Excited? That's a pretty cool play. Gotta give credit where credit is due. Okay. So our next card is almost like what is it? 75%? To be Feel the Rush. Is there a tier list for champions? A couple of people made some on Twitter or YouTube. Can't think of one off the top of my head because it depends so much on the deck and the other champion you pair them with. Maybe I should do a tier list video one day. Champion tier list. I think I want to Shock Blast immediately because next turn I'll probably be playing Feel the Rush, right? These didn't really look like units on my opponent's side. And this is where we take over. Who's playing the elusive deck now, huh? Huh? Come at me, bruv. Nutty top deck. I mean, we almost knew that we would draw this because of Station Archivist earlier on.
Never lost a fair game.
Gold card? What the hell?
I am the Tide Caller.
Did my opponent misclick?
The darkness.
Like the classic League of Legends Twisted Fate?
I won't let my home be swallowed by darkness.
There shouldn't be anything in my opponent's deck to stop the open attack and do Shock Blast, to be honest.
You won't stop me. Ooh, quite a collection.
Okay, prefers to sack Nami over sacrificing TF.
Sorry, everyone. Embrace the current or be swept away.
Finish him.
Interesting use of tech.
Fatality.
Testing.
GG, that was a pretty interesting game. Got the good old 11-11 Teemo back.
Gonna mark today down as a success.